Hey guys, here are 5 things I found interesting this week from the world of evolution and public health. Number 1. In scary pandemic watch news, a human case of H5N1 was reported in Missouri last week. What makes this case worrisome? The infected person had no known contact with birds, dairy cows, or any other animals typically linked to avian flu. This was the first in the US, a human case with no clear animal exposure. H5N1 bird flu has caused deadly outbreaks in poultry worldwide and is considered a high pandemic risk because humans lack immunity to it. This virus has also been spreading in US dairy cows with over 200 herds affected across 14 states. I have a video about bird flu that's linked below. The Missouri patient was hospitalized with typical flu symptoms, but got better. This is an evolving situation. And now there's another piece to the puzzle. CDC is now reporting a second household contact of the first case also had symptoms the same day, again with no animal contact. We don't know how this happened. They don't have full genetic data for the virus, but the partial data they do have links the virus to strains seen in dairy cattle, but there's no evidence of human-to-human transmission of H5N1 bird flu at this time. Still, we can't rule it out entirely. I'm solidly in the mildly worried category when it comes to H5N1, but evidence of person-to-person transmission will bump me up quickly. It's been frustrating to see how long it took to get answers in this case. In short, we need better pathogen surveillance systems. Number 2. Your massive noggin is one of the things that makes you human. Parts of the brain responsible for higher order thinking, like decision-making, self-control, and language, got a lot bigger after we split from chimpanzees. This growth is what helps us do things that chimpanzees can't, like make educational yet entertaining weekly science news series. But there's a catch. The very parts of the brain that evolved to make us so smart are also the most vulnerable to the ravages of aging. This concept is known as last in, first out. Essentially, the parts of the brain that were last to evolve are the first to decline as we get older. Researchers figured this out by analyzing MRI scans of human and chimp brains. This point represents one of those expanded brain regions, the prefrontal cortex, which is crucial for decision-making and self-control. It's an outlier in how much it's expanded in humans, but also in how much age-related decline it experiences. So the prefrontal cortex not only evolved rapidly, but also takes a bigger hit as we get older. All of those prized cognitive abilities are what make us human, but unfortunately they start to fade earlier than other brain functions. So be sure to appreciate them while they last, and do something that a chimpanzee can't do, like subscribe for more weekly science videos. Number 3. As a scientist, I've spent my entire career reading DNA to understand the biology of humans and other animals. Reading DNA is easy, but reading proteins is way harder. Today, thanks to some groundbreaking research, we're closer than ever to sequencing entire proteins directly, and this could completely change biology and medicine. Researchers developed a method to read long protein strands using nanopore technology. Nanopore sequencing is a tool that my lab uses these days for DNA, like in our work on lemurs and pathogens in Madagascar, which you can hear about in the video linked below. In this recent study, scientists threaded protein molecules through a nanopore sensor and were able to detect the structure and sequence of the proteins one amino acid at a time. So why is this a game changer? Well, proteins are the real workers inside cells, responsible for everything from metabolism to cell repair. Understanding the exact structure of these proteins, down to the single amino acid, can help us decode the vast array of protein variants that drive biological processes and influence disease. There's still a lot of work to be done to scale up and speed up this method, but the technique still has massive potential to reshape our understanding of biology and disease. I'm stoked to try it out someday. Number 4. You may have heard the cautionary tale that the people of Rapa Nui, aka Easter Island, cut down all their trees to set up their famous statues, and through this environmental devastation, they doomed themselves to societal collapse by starvation and warfare and cannibalism. It's a compelling story that sells pop science books, but it's not true. Recent research, like the study from this week, is giving us a more accurate and frankly more hopeful view. Studies of ancient genomes from the islanders show that the population didn't collapse because of resource overuse. Rather, it remained stable until the introduction of European diseases and slave raids in the 19th century, which would actually devastated the population. This DNA analysis also revealed a bonus finding, that long before European contact, the Rapa Nui had already interbred with Native Americans from the Andean region of South America, thousands of miles away. All of this work was done with the participation of the modern Rapa Nui, who want their ancestors' remains returned from the museum in Paris. This study corrects the record and suggests that the people of Rapa Nui weren't just isolated on their remote island, dooming themselves to extinction by destroying their environment. Instead, they were adaptive and resilient farmers in the face of environmental challenges, and skilled seafarers that crossed thousands of miles of open ocean to make contact with the Americas. So their story is not one of self-inflicted destruction, but of human ingenuity. Number 5. This little one is packing on the pounds and squirming a lot lately, and all of those calories are coming from a magical substance known as breast milk. But human milk isn't just a source of nutrition. It's a complex mix of nutrients and immune factors and hormones, all of which are critical for an infant's development. In a study of over 300 mother-infant pairs, researchers found that genetic variants in the mother can affect gene expression in the mammary glands, which in turn influences the levels of specific milk components. This all matters because what's inside breast milk can have a direct effect on the health of the infant, especially in shaping their gut microbiome, the collection of bacteria and other microorganisms living in their digestive tract. Amazingly, some of the sugar in breast milk isn't made for the baby herself. Instead, these sugars are digested by her, but serve as food for beneficial bacteria like bifidobacterium, which are critical for a healthy gut. This study shows that breast milk is far more than just a meal. It's a carefully tailored biological tool, influenced by a mother's genetic makeup, that helps set the foundation for a baby's long-term health. Please subscribe if you want to hear the latest updates from the worlds of evolution and public health, which will be published every week. I'm aiming for every Saturday, but I've been late the last 2 weeks because it's hard to make these videos while keeping an infant alive. Be sure to follow along for more evolutionary biology and public health news.